It is another evening, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to discuss about issues affecting the country, affecting us as Cameroonians. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another edition of Viewpoint here on DBS Television. And in tonight's edition of the program, we are going to look at issues relating to the ongoing Anglophone crisis in the two regions, the Northwest and the Southwest regions. In the studio with me to discuss on this, we have faces who, they are not new to you. We're talking of Mr. Kimbang T. Vitalis. He is a civil society activist. Good evening, Mr. Kimbang. Thank you for being there.
Good evening, Mr. Mange. It's my pleasure to be here again. Good evening, all the televiewers.
Mr. Kimbang is being accompanied by Mr. Fundu Ignatius. He is equally a civil society activist. Good evening, Mr. Fundu, and thank you for being there.
Good evening, Mr. Venatius. I'm happy to be on the panel together with you, equally with Mr. Kimbang.
It is a pleasure too for our viewers having the two of you so that we can talk about this issue of the ongoing Anglophone crisis. So let's take the first part of the program, the yes or no answer session. We begin with question 1. Blocking of KUMBO Road, a strategy to bring about independent. Mr. Fundu?
No.
Mr. Fundu says no, it is not. Mr. Kimbang?
No, very big no.
Kimbang says no, a big one, of course. Mr. Kimbang, I remain with you. Is there anything the government can do to make this road, this stretch of road, KUMBO-KAMBE, passable?
Yes.
Yes, Kimbang says yes, something government can do. Mr. Fundu?
I also say a big yes.
Yes, there is something a government can do. Let us take the second part and there we will hear them tell us about all these points. We would wish to inform you too that Viewpoint is going on as well, live on our Facebook page that you have on your screen. The ongoing Anglophone crisis has had so many impact on the population. And in today's edition of the program, we are looking at the issue where separatist fighters blocked the stretch of road linking NKAMBE, that is from KUMBO to KAMBE. And we know movement into Ndonga-Mantun division, a greater part of it, they passed through Bui division to Ndonga-Mantun division. And separatist fighters in Bui division, they call themselves the Bui warriors, took upon themselves to block that stretch of road leading into KAMBE. And we must indicate here that KAMBE has been like an oasis in the desert of the Northwest region, plagued by the ongoing Anglophone crisis. And we are trying to find out in this edition of the program if the strategy taken by these separatist fighters, we know they are not here in the studio, but this civil society activists, we are reasoning beyond, into the issue, and we're finding out, is the strategy going to bring their much, trumpeted dream of independence? Mr. Kimbang, I begin with you. Is that possible?
Samange, good evening, and good evening to all the televiewers. I wish to believe that as an Anglophone, if anybody says that Anglophones are not marginalized in Cameroon, that person is
it's not being realistic.
Not being realistic.
Yes.
When this issue started in 2016, all of us, the Anglophones, we thought that it was a forum for us to table our grievances to the government. Mm-hmm. Then later on, it degenerated to picking up arms to fight, in quote, they say, to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, when it started, I wish to believe that all of us were so excited, because when it started in 2016, everybody was excited, though we didn't expect that people were going to die as they have been doing now. But now when people took up arms, I want to believe that they took up arms, then the foundation of the revolution was built on lies tellings. Mm-hmm. We start from it first. When it started,
Mr. Kimbang, we are talking, let our viewers follow. Lies telling lies to the government, telling lies to the population, lies to themselves, lies telling to who?
The diaspora who took over the revolution, they built the revolution on lies telling. Mm-hmm. Let me start our analysis one after another. Mm-hmm. They first of all said people should march to the army barracks and capture the army barracks. The question I asked myself was, when you march to the army barracks, when you march to the police station and you capture the police station, what becomes of it? You need a budget to run that police station.
Of course.
Have they put a budget aside that they will use to run that police station? No. Secondly, they said the United Nations forces were stationed at Manawo Bay, ready to intervene in the event where the government forces shoot at the protester. It was a big lie, because we all know what it entails for United Nations forces to intervene in any country. There must be a security meeting where the countries will vote for a military intervention. But those in the diaspora, they told us a lie, that
UN forces are already ready to come to Cameroon.
Very good. Secondly, they said 27 nations have already recognized the independence of Southern Cameroon, that as soon as Ayok Tabe was going to declare it, countries will pour in their support for the independence of Southern Cameroon. That was a lie. When Ayok Tabe declared it, no country, not even a single country, even said anything. Third, they said people should boycott schools, and that they were going to open ambassador schools in the next coming year, that is 2017. I wrote to some of the separatist leaders, and I told them, look, if you ask people to boycott school, that's a very wrong strategy, because boycotting school means that your children will become illiterate, and in the nearest future, it will be very difficult to manage them. Secondly, when you just sit and you say, okay, schools will start, you will start your own school next year. First of all, what is the curriculum that you will use to study school? You need books. You need to train people who will use these books. And you need teachers. And you need a budget to run all these things. And you need a GCE board. You need an examination board. Have you put all these things in place? They said, no, they know what they will do. Look at where we are today. Many people have died. Now,
many displaced.
Many
children not
going
to school.
Our children have become prostitutes all over the national territory. You go to Bonabere in the night, you see small girls as young as 13, 14 years old. They prostitute themselves because they don't have what to eat. This is not what we, the Anglophones, we wanted. Now, going further, let me talk about the NKAMBE KUMBO Road. When the crisis generated, we the Anglophones now became the targets. That is why the NKAMBE KUMBO Road was blocked. Blocking the NKAMBE KUMBO Road, I don't know how they reason it out that they should block this road. Because first of all, if we are fighting for democracy, people should be ready to express themselves, either to join or not to join. But you will not force that people, it was as if everybody in NKAMBE is a traitor and that they have to block NKAMBE. Now, you are creating another war inside another war. You are fighting for liberation, yet you have put a section of the people under siege. It's not because the NKAMBE people are peaceful people. They could equally launch another attack on insult people, which I believe we have been living as brothers and sisters. And NKAMBE man and the insult man, they can never go into conflict. But those who have bad faith, because we are not saying that it is the insult community that has blocked the road from NKAMBE. Those with bad faith have blocked the roads, which for me has a very negative impact on this struggle.
Okay, Mr. Kambang, we will come back to you about the blockage of along that stretch of road. But I want to find out from Mr. Fundu, who is of the opinion too that the strategy taken by the Boy warriors would or is not aimed at bringing independence in the struggle. But Mr. Fundu, I wanted to get your opinion. This crisis is a kind of hit and run, fight. We know that the separatists are there, but you cannot say for sure that they are in this location. And when it comes to a point where they block the road, what has become of the government forces?
In this case, I don't really, I don't need to go into details. I don't know, because blocking, when we talk about blocking, sometimes they destroy roads, bridges, and sometimes they put
road blockage.
So within these two, I don't know whether it is road blockage or...
from every indication, this is road blockage, Mr. Kambang.
Yeah, this is the... What they do is that...
They cut trees.
They are not cut trees. The road is
it is open.
It's open.
But it's not. Circulation is not.
Circulation is not going on because any vehicle that there passes through that road, the separatists are going to shoot at that vehicle.
Yes.
So now nobody wants to risk his life passing through that road.
I'm trying to tell Mr. Mange that your question is very clear because when they block the road by their decision, we mean that even the military can circulate the road, but the civilian will not circulate.
Yes.
When the military will be coming, they will
run to the bushes.
They will run away. And then when this driver that you run that,
like that is a stretch of road.
You just were saying even the other one concerning the bridge at Maitazan. Because when they send out a communique like this, it is you, the civilian. You value your life. You will not risk your life going into a zone where you know that there are people. Somebody will get you from the bush in which you will not know who has carried the act. So, but I would like to stay around the blockage from the first question you.
Yes, talking about bringing independence into this struggle.
It is not. This one is. It resembles when a country is facing their decision. They may have a reason on their decision. It resembles when a country is always facing economic embargo. You remember that when a country is facing economic embargo, the leaders of that country never suffer. It is only the common man that suffering. That suffers. I quite remember, if I have to go into history, when I saw images of North Korea, when North Korea was suffering from economic, you could see children picking grains of rice on the street and eating raw. But that person who is the leader of the country and the minister will never suffer.
He lives a very
so I'm trying to tell the separatist leader that this decision you are taking, the government will never feel an inch of the negative part. The people that will suffer are those living in that area and those who are supposed to travel on that road. Because normally there are things, there are basic commodities that drive by
of course there's a good commercial exchange between
there's commercial
and
exchange.
KAMBE.
And now they also have to be careful. They have to know that for them to gain independence as they are thinking, they cannot gain the independence without the population. It is the population that will make them gain the independence. But now, when you begin to take decisions that put the population on pains, then you are not very sure. Remember, just as my brother said from there, in 2017, when Anglophones came out in their number and march, you could even see a mother who cannot walk marching on the street. Everybody supported the idea. And you begin to see now that courage is dying out. Is because of decisions that they take like this one. It's not only the warriors. One time in my village, we have only just the main market that is in the like in the Batway subdivision. Some of these separatist leaders now took a decision and blocked one part of my village and said that people should not more take things to Guza market. They should sell them, but in the village, in which in the village there are no buyers. When you have to go to a market like that one, that's where traders come from the town, from Bamenda town, yes, to buy. So at that time, you could see somebody begging somebody to buy a bunch of banana for 200 francs. A mother selling a bunch of banana 200 francs, and then nobody.
What she would have sold maybe for 2.5.
So this decision resembles that of decision. When you begin to make people suffer, when people feel the pain, they have to understand that the population has been obedient to them for some time. Because really, the Monday Ghost Town shows that the people respond to some of their decisions.
Mr. Fundu,
but they should not go to that one should not give them the courage
to think that
to exaggerate things, because already now like this, I don't believe that that very population is very satisfied with
what is happening.
With their activities.
Mr. Fundu, let me come in.
Yes, Mr. Kamba.
We cannot say that people respect Ghost Town.
Okay, it's out of
fear that people respect Ghost Town. Because first of all the decisions that they take, the population whom they claim they are protecting are the victims. When you cut down a bridge that leads from another quarter to another quarter, how does that affect the regime in Yaoundé? When you say people will not go to the farm on Monday because it's Ghost Town, how does that affect President Paul Biya in Yaoundé? When you say children will not go to school, how does that affect President Paul Biya in Yaoundé? When you kidnap people and take ransom, is that part of defending yourself? That question we should ask ourselves. So when you notice that everything about this Dragona has fallen on the heads of
the population,
whom they claim that they are protecting. Sincerely, we should not be like just going ahead without thinking of what we are doing. When we are struggling, I beg the separatist leaders, please take a minute, look behind you. What have we gained? Because every day I hear we are winning fatly. We are winning fatly. What are we winning fatly? Are we winning fatly because our girls have become prostitutes all over the national territory? Are we winning fatly because our children have become illiterate? Are we winning fatly because we have destroyed all our roads? Are we winning fatly because our children can no more go to school? What are we winning fatly?
Okay, Mr. Kimbang, I wanted to find out, is like the decisions they take, they are against the people, because the decision is, if it is not for the people, for whose interest are they working?
Please, look, it's just that I said something here. It's as if they have a mentality that punishing the people will bring them independence. Whosoever brought that idea of boycotting school will bring independence, I don't know whether that person, because it is sheer wickedness that somebody that got good education in Cameroon will leave Cameroon, go to America, and will preach that students will not go to school, knowing fully well that children, by not going to school, it will not bring independence. It will only help to bring more suffering to the people. Look at the number of prostitute girls, small girls that we have on the street that are prostitutes that come from the northwest and the southwest region. You will shed tears. But some of these separated leaders who are in the diaspora, I was talking to one yesterday. I told one, look, the decision that you people are taking, people on the ground are dying. Please, people on the ground are dying. She told me that we damn the consequences. I said, yes, you have to damn the consequences because first of all, you are in Europe.
Is she?
Yes, it's a she. You are in Europe, you are in America, you are sending money to your family. If there's a ghost town, they will stock food in their houses and they will live well.
Yeah, what about those
common man here who is here, who cannot even feed himself,
who needs to look up to somebody
very
else.
Good, who needs to go to the farm before he comes and eats. Now look, when you block Nkambe Road, and the other day they say they were blocking Matazam Road, meaning that if somebody leaves Nkambe to go to Bamenda, he will have to come to he will go to Magba. From Magba, he will come to
Fumban.
From Fumban, he will come to Babusam. From Babusam, he will come down to Douala. From Douala, he will go down up to Boya. From Boya, he will go up to Manfe before he will go up to Bamenda. I was in Bamenda the other day. I saw one guy who is from Ndu. He was posted in KUMBO. He needed to come and take service in KUMBO. He left Ndu. From Ndu to KUMBO is 700 francs or 1,000 francs. He left Ndu, went to Magba. From Magba, he came to Fumban.
Okay, he did all this round.
Yes, from Fumban, he came to Babsam. From Babsam, he came to Bamenda. Before he paid the vehicle from Bamenda to KUMBO, went and took service and did the same round.
Which means he could not leave Nkambe to KUMBO.
Yes. How does that affect the President Paul Biya in Yaoundé? All the decisions that the separatist leaders are taking, all the decisions, I beg you, my brother, everything is to punish the population. There is no one of those decisions that favors that can bring independence. Let's be very truthful here. There is no one. Okay, they are blocked in KUMBO Road, but the military are still using that road. The military pass to that road. If you want to prove that you are strong, why can you not
block the military from
passing? You are blocked in KAMBE Road. But most of the children from KUMBO, they are all escaped and studying in KAMBE. And in KAMBE, people that welcome them very well. And I was even talking with the honorable member of parliament from KAMBE. He told me that he has told the population, welcome them.
Of course, they are Cameroonians.
They are Cameroonians.
Brothers,
these are people that love peace.
Yes.
But yet, we don't have conscience. The other day, Ayabacho was brandishing his PhD, his doctorate degree. Akwanga was brandishing how his children are graduating from England. But yet, you are giving children other people should not go to school. Is that not wickedness?
Okay, Mr. Kimbang, we'll come back to you. Mr. Fundu, we are moving over to question 2, and we are finding out that is the situation that the people are living, a situation of fear. Is there anything that the government can do to make this road possible? We are establishing that it is not as if the road is physically blocked, but it is the instructions that this road is no more, circulation is no more effective on this road.
Is
there anything that the government mentally blocked, exactly like we are saying? Is there anything that the government can do to make this road again what it used to be, to make this stretch of road? Because, like he says, just 700 from KAMBE, you are in KUMBO, and the matter of less than 1 hour came back.
Yes.
Less than 1 hour. So, is there anything that the government can do to make this road again possible?
No, what I would like to say that I will not talk about KAMBE. Solve the crisis.
Correct.
Solving the circulation between KAMBE and KAMBE and KUMBO
will not solve the situation
means
between
that
Bamenda and
schools,
Bafoussam.
maybe a school may manage to function in KAMBE and other parts of the country. Children will continue saying that.
Yes.
Solve the crisis. And there's the one thing I would like us to understand. Solving, treating an illness and then treating the cause of the illness are two different things.
Yes.
We mean that
it were preferable we treat the cause.
You treat the virus that causes the illness, then you have terminated the illness once and for all. But if you are treating the illness,
effect,
you treat it one time, the virus might still cause it. So opening this stretch of road means that you will succeed. And then this guy may migrate and go into another area
and mount another blockage.
And mount a blockage. That is where I come to the government, because we are talking to all of them. But there's somebody who has an upper hand, which is the government. I have once said it somewhere, Mr. Mange, if you happen to return from the job site and you arrive at your home, you meet your wife and children dancing music in the living parlor, and music is playing at high tune. Your wife and children are dancing, and you come and stand at the door, you talk, nobody responds to you. What should you do? The best thing you should do is go to the source of that music and turn it off.
Yes.
Because when you speak, and somebody will listen to you. What do I mean to say? The music that the Anglophones are dancing. There is somebody playing that music from somewhere.
Yes.
Just like Mr. Vitalis said from there. What is disturbing our leaders? Why don't you focus towards those people? Because as I'm telling you, those guys you see there, if they come to the air as they used to do and announce that as from now we are saying that from next week, let everything come to a halt, especially schools. People will go to school, because what is keeping people is fear, as Mr. Kimban was saying from there. So we are advising our state to go. If you go there and talk with them, that will be the beginning. Because even that, the government there are things they must not expose, because things like the national dialogue that took place, those are things that take place in front of the camera. But as a state, there are things
they are supposed to be dialogue.
There are diplomatic measures that a state can take
behind the scene.
Yes, behind the scene, before people will notice, we will be seeing the fruits of the diplomacy. So those are some of the things that they should take. That should be the beginning. If you start from there, maybe those people will they are going to calm down a bit before you begin to go further for other dialogue.
Mr. Fondu, what pains me much is that somebody took up arms to defend me, then I become the victim. Or what he does in the name of defending me,
instead causes pain and
suffering to me. That's the problem. If it was the military maltreating people, we will say, okay, they are maltreating us because we took off arms to fight against them, and they are still maltreating us. But our own brothers who took up arms to fight and protect us,
they are the people causing all this untold
inflicting untold sufferings to us. That's where my problem comes from. Now, the road from KAMBE to KUMBO. First of all, let the separatist leaders advise those who are on the ground. Please, let this road be passable. When they say Anglophone, KAMBE is not exempted.
Of course.
Limbe functions very well.
In the heart of that crisis.
In the heart of the crisis, Limbe in the southwest, and they function very well. Why is that they have not blocked the road that's going to Limbe? Why are they only going to block the road that's going to KAMBE? So people should not like creating another crisis inside this crisis. Look, let's tell you something. If the people in KAMBE were not so welcoming, now they rise up and say, okay, you people block our road. You will not come to our area. Where will all these people go? I want to bet you that.
And the crisis will keep aggravating.
Yes. Aggravating. People should know that at the end of this crisis,
life will continue. Yes.
As if this crisis is not going to go on forever and ever. Life will continue. You should be able to be in such a way that after this crisis,
you still look at another person in the face and talk.
Don't behave as if all is finished.
Mr. Kumbang, before time is almost getting us out, one would expect that most of these Cameroonians who have gone out there, they would understand the values of concepts like education, the values of concepts like the preservation of the road, the values of concepts like development. But you would understand that these are the very people who are calling for the destruction of such heritage things that, for the good of the community, like schools, like blocking children from going to schools, blocking commerce.
Mr. Mange, that's where I'm very, very confused.
Yes.
The Anglophone rose up in 2016 because of underdevelopment.
Of course. And then
now the little that we have
is almost going again.
Concentrated on destroying them. The little roads that we have. I even learned that they have destroyed part of the roads in Ginicom. I've been to Com. I saw the
very good road. Yes.
They have destroyed it. They have destroyed bridges in villages. When you live even in Ara, let me say about in KUMBO, you leave another quarter to go to another quarter. There was one guy in Bonaberi who complained to me that his vehicle is parked in KUMBO because he destroyed a road from Zinji. His vehicle parked in Zinji in KUMBO because he cannot leave Zinji and transport his vehicle because they have cut the bridge.
Okay.
How does that affect the regime in Yaoundé?
God.
That's why we should act. If we are fighting for development, and now the little that we have, we concentrate on destroying them.
Okay.
Does that not? It seems very ambiguous. It seems that we don't even know what we are looking for.
Okay, Mr. Fundo, for time, you were talking of the government solving the cause of this disease that we are suffering from. If you have to talk to these separatist fighters, what would you tell them in less than 1 minute?
They have to understand that had it been all of us were together fighting this thing on the same ground, they wouldn't have been behaving like this because we could have been feeling their pain. So they should reason different. They should have a different feeling on those who are on the ground. Because normally, if they were at home, we could have been going through this road blockage. They could also suffer from it. Even the government officials, they will also. So the problem, what this population is suffering is because you see, even the elites have been displaced. Some of them are in Yaoundé and
Douala. Yes.
So we should learn to. What you know that if somebody does to you, it pains you. You should not do it to another person.
Yes.
They should have feelings on those people there because they don't know the atmosphere.
And I want to tell them that.
Yes, Mr. you are rounding up.
Yeah, by blocking schools, they want to make the complete bilingualism of Cameroon is going to be completed fully because many Anglophones have migrated from the Norway and Southwest and they are schooling in French zones. They have not learned French, they speak like Francophones. In less than some years, you see that Cameroon will be perfectly bilingual. So what they are fighting for will not even, no nation will even look at them.
Okay.
So I'm preaching on the separatist fighter that they should tell the people on the ground that when they take a decision, they should know that they take a decision that will not affect the population.
Good.
Take a decision that should be that they are protecting the civilians. They should not take a decision that the consequence of it falls back
to the population. Thank you so much.
They claim they are protecting.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We would have loved to continue, but the time is against us. That is why we would call on our viewers. Let us keep the discussion going on our Facebook page. That is all we had time for today's edition of the program. Up next, Cynthia Ngwemo will be there with the news in the English language. Until we meet again tomorrow, have a blessed evening and goodbye. Coronavirus is not an imagination or an invention. It is a real threat that spares no one. We are already counting so many casualties the world over. The situation is serious and we individually have the choice to scrupulously respect prescribed norms to preserve lives or die by mortgaging the lives of others. Therefore, our responsibility is strongly solicited in rigor and discipline. To stay safe, we need to regularly wash hands with soap, cough or sneeze on the elbow or on a handkerchief. Use a disposable tissue. Greet each other without shaking hands and avoid embracing. Avoid close contact, or better still, respect the 1.5 meter distance from others. Stay at home and above all, voluntarily self-isolate and consult medical personnel in case of cough, flu or fever. Together, responsibly, we will defeat coronavirus.
Ce soir, rester en compagnie de nos programmes. Au plaisir de vous retrouver.